Hey guys, it's Jen. I'm not sure what week this is, maybe week 77, 78, something like that. It is September 27, 2013. I hope you can hear me. I don't even know if this is really recording. My controls on my camera on my computer are all messed up, so I don't even know what's going on right now. Hopefully you can hear me because this video is kind of important, at least to me. I wasn't going to make a video for a while because I'm just having a lot of issues with food lately, and control and self-control, that is, and discipline. And I posted some things on Facebook about it, and I got a lot of responses that surprised me because these people who I think are amazing, namely Pam and Elle, and I think that they've done remarkably well, like way better than I could have ever hoped for myself. There's no way that I'm not going to say that. I don't think that I could have accomplished what they have. And they were experiencing a lot of the same things that I was. And I apologize for the makeup thing. I cleaned my face, and apparently I didn't get all my eye makeup off. But at any rate, I was surprised by their responses. And when I get quiet time and I get time to think, I come up with some pretty interesting thoughts, and I'm always trying to learn more about myself and how I treat people and how I treat myself and what I want out of life and all that kind of stuff. So thinking about all this stuff and reading this book, which is When Food is Love, exploring the relationship between food and intimacy, between eating and intimacy, whatever, and watching some stuff on Oprah's life class thing. It's amazing the things that I've figured out, and one of the things that I've learned, and my thoughts are all over the place with this, so I hope I can convey it in a cohesive way, because it's really remarkable when I think about it and put it all together. But these food issues, I thought for sure were all related to food addiction, and I do believe in food addiction, but I don't believe in food addiction in the terms that we've been told to believe in it. I think food addiction is definitely caused by the additives that they put in the processed foods, and especially in the fast foods. It's not real food, and they get us addicted to those things because it tastes good, and in the immediate, while we're eating it, it feels good. It calms whatever anxiety we're having. It calms whatever cravings we're having because we're addicted. And then the consequences of it and the side effects of it are that we become unhealthy and obese, and they turn it around and they blame us for it. You feel that way and you're unhealthy because you eat too much fast food, because when you were a child, people neglected you. When you were a child, you were abused. When you were a child, this, and the other. And that's not to say that, some of us really were traumatized as kids. Some of us really do have neglect in our past. We have abuse in our past. And I, in no uncertain terms, am taking away those experiences from you and the emotions that you have because of those experiences. You have every right in the world to feel and to own those emotions. But you're an adult now. You're not a child anymore. You can make decisions that can erase those feelings. You don't have to feel that inadequate and that unworthy and that sad anymore. You're an adult. You have control now. You didn't have control when you were a kid. You have control now. So no, it's not your fault, and you do have a choice outside of the addictive qualities of that food, but you still have a choice. So food addiction does exist in that term. Food addiction also exists, however, and I think this is important, when I'm eating, which, let me tell you, frozen Cokes, I've been addicted to them since about 8 or 9 weeks post-op. It is an insanity now. It is not just an addiction, it's an insanity. I've had a frozen Coke, or whatever you want to call it, Slurpee, Freezy, Icy, whatever you want to call it, a frozen Coke every single day for the past 36 days. Every day. If I don't have it, or if I think about not having it that day, my anxiety is through the roof. Like, I literally can't imagine not going to get one at some point in the day. And then I come home and I eat other sugary things. I can minimize what I'm eating at home, but I still feel like I have to have that frozen Coke. And all this self-analyzation that I'm doing and reading the books and watching the shows, what I've come to learn about it is that my food addiction is largely because I am afraid of being vulnerable. So instead of being open to this silence and this quietness and this rawness, I'm constantly eating and I'm constantly putting things in my mouth and I'm constantly distracting myself with food because I don't want to feel vulnerable because it's scary. It's so scary. When you lose weight, a lot of things change. You are suddenly not invisible anymore. You suddenly matter. You have value. You have worth. People notice you. And when you've come from a place to where people have ignored you, where they just kind of rode over you, they didn't really care what your thoughts and your opinions, you weren't attractive to the opposite sex, you were invisible to people, and to other people you had wished you had been invisible. When you come from that reality to suddenly you're losing a ton of weight and everything changes so fast, part of it is still you have these habits that haven't gone away and you don't know how to deal with it. And the other part of it is that you are changing so fast in the midst of all of this, you start to feel very naked and exposed. And I made a video when I was about 3.5 weeks post-op that was titled, "I Regret Having Surgery." And I don't think I fully understood at that point because it just happened today where I really, really realized this. And I'm 19 months post-op now. But I regretted having surgery at that point in time because it was all happening too fast and I couldn't catch up with it. And I just felt so out there. I felt so vulnerable. And I didn't know how to handle that because I didn't know how I was going to handle me. I didn't know if I was enough for me. I still don't know. And it's okay that I don't know. It's okay that you don't know. If you're scared, it's normal. It's so normal. Being vulnerable means being brave. It means being scared. It means taking a risk. But you don't know your own greatness until you own that vulnerability. Until you tell yourself that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be open. It's not a weakness. You actually have to have great strength in order to be that vulnerable. But it's scary as hell. It's so scary. Because what if you're not enough? What if what you're offering in that vulnerability is not given to you in return? It's like telling somebody that you love them, but they don't respond the same way. Asking for a raise at work, and your boss looks at you like you're crazy. You can still tell that person you love them. You can still ask for that raise. It's not about what you get in return. It's about what you are willing to give. I always wondered, if I give that much and I'm that vulnerable, what happens if I'm not enough? Like, what happens if I'm that raw and I'm that open and I just get negativity in return? I'm going to be crushed. Your feelings are going to be hurt. You're human. But you're not going to be crushed. You're going to be fine. You're going to grow a little. You're going to have some experience. You're going to be fine. And if you're not enough for that person, for whatever circumstances that may be, you don't need that person in your life. The people that you need in your life will show up when you do. I was sitting here on my couch thinking about things, and I'm talking all this out to myself, and I, out of nowhere, said, I will have better than I had when I start being better than I was. And I was like, holy shit, that's cool. I totally came up with that by myself. I should write a book. Anyway, but instead I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel because it's true. You will get better than you had when you start being better than you were. And that doesn't happen overnight. That does not happen by playing it safe. That doesn't happen by, I'm only going to give myself to people who are worth it. You have to be okay being vulnerable and being open, and don't use food as a blanket to that vulnerability. Don't use food to silence what you are because you're afraid. 36 frozen Cokes in 36 days. I'm petrified. I'm not just scared. I still have not accepted who I am now that I've lost all this weight. I still don't see it all the way. I still am so worried about what people see when they look at me. I'm still fat. I'm still like, and I wonder, like, do I not have worth because of my weight? Do people get to treat me differently because of my weight? My issues right now are food related. Stuffing my face and drinking those frozen Cokes because I feel like I have no choice. And in my intimate relationships with men, feeling like I have to go back to how I was when I was pre-op, which was having sex with whoever wanted to have sex with me because I thought that's all I was worth. And I didn't care if they were married or not. I didn't care because I didn't care about me. And that's just honest truth. It's cliche, but it's truth. And I felt sexy and I felt cool. And now that I've lost 109 pounds, I don't feel sexy anymore. I have times when I look in the mirror or I look on the camera and I think I'm attractive, but I have a lot of days where I don't. I don't feel attractive to the opposite sex in a real, palatable way. I still feel like I'm only attracted to them if they're attracted to me sexually. And if they're not attracted to me sexually, then they must not be attracted to me. To me. I have based my attractiveness my whole life on body image. And now I'm like finally getting it that attractiveness is about who you are. Your body is a bonus. Your body is a bonus. But I'm still so scared of my body still. I'm way more uncomfortable with my body now than I was when I was pre-op. When I was 323 pounds, I was cool being naked. Weird, but true. And now I have all this excess skin and my boobs are flat. And I don't know. I'm way more curvier than I was. My natural shape is showing. But I hate seeing my body naked. So I can't imagine being in a relationship and some guy being okay with it. And some guy, not even being attracted to it. Being attracted to it is not even an option. Accepting it. Like being able to look at it and not be disgusted. That's what I'm aiming for right now. That's the level I'm at. Because I have a hard time doing that myself, and it's my own body, and I worked for this body. And so I'm just afraid. I'm almost sabotaging relationships and my dating experiences. Not because I don't think I'm not enough, but because I'm just now learning about real intimacy and real attractiveness and what is really sexy. And it has very little to do with body image. Very little. And it's good for someone to find you attractive. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't base everything on that. Not in a good way and not in a bad way. So, all of this being said, by the way, Santa Heights, yay! To my school. Anyway, I had to do it because they gave us free t-shirts, and I'm like, awesome, you've never given me anything my whole undergrad career, and now I guess once you become a master's degree student, they want to give you free shit. So, anyway, all of this is really just to say, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to figure stuff out. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. And don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid of being afraid. It's totally normal, and you can't grow unless you feel that fear and act on the courage. Just my opinion. What do I know? I'm some girl on YouTube, but I've done a lot of thinking, and I have a lot of personal experience, and this is what I've come up with. So hopefully it'll help you. Just because it's in this book doesn't make it true. You adapt to what makes sense to you, and this is what I've learned. So, at any rate, I'm going to go. I'm going to stop talking. Thank you for watching, and if you're practicing, or not practicing, if you're pre-op and you're getting to the point where you're going to have surgery, or you're thinking about having surgery, it changes everything. Some things in your life will not exist anymore. Some things that you find good in your life will not exist anymore because you'll get better. That's all I'm going to say. So, have a good evening, and I will talk to you guys all soon. Bye.